Have you ever walked into a room or sat down with an old friend and felt a sudden, inexplicable weight press down on your chest? It is not anger. It is not judgment. It is a physical repulsion. It feels like the air has suddenly become too thick to breathe. You listen to them speak, perhaps about the same drama, the same complaints, the same cycles you have heard 1,000 times. And for the first time in your life, you cannot simply endure it. Your body wants to leave. Your muscles tense up. Your energy drops as if someone just pulled the plug on your battery. For years you ignored this signal. You were trained to be polite. You were installed with a social program that said being a good person means being available, being a sponge for other people's chaos. So you stayed. You smiled. You nodded your head while your internal system screamed at you to disconnect. But lately, something has changed. The override button is broken. You find yourself cutting conversations short. You avoid phone calls from people you used to spend hours with. You feel a sudden sharp intolerance for gossip, for negativity, for shallow noise. And because you are a kind person, this terrifies you. You look at yourself in the mirror and you ask, what is wrong with me? Am I becoming arrogant? Am I becoming cold? Why can't I just be nice anymore? Listen to me closely. You are not broken. You are not becoming cold. What you are experiencing is not a personality flaw. It is a system alert. Imagine you have driven an old, beat-up car for years. It rattles. It shakes. The engine makes noise. You don't notice the bumps in the road because the whole machine is vibrating anyway. But then, you step into a precision-engineered vehicle, a silent, perfectly aligned machine. Suddenly, even the smallest pebble on the road is felt, not because the car is weak, but because it is sensitive. It is tuned. You are not losing your empathy. You are refining your instrumentation. Your operating system is undergoing a massive upgrade from unconscious survival to conscious awareness. What you call intolerance is actually your nervous system detecting a frequency mismatch that it can no longer afford to process. You are trying to run high voltage energy through a wire that is being pinched by low voltage environments. The guilt you feel is just the old programming trying to run on the new hardware, but the body does not lie. The body is the most sophisticated sensor you possess. And right now, it is telling you that the mechanism of connection you used to rely on is changing. It is time to stop looking at this as a social problem. It is time to look at it as an engineering problem. Let us open the hood and look at the mechanics of why your biology is rejecting the old code. To understand why you can no longer tolerate certain people, you must first understand how your hardware processes connection. We often think of communication as data transfer. I speak, you listen. I send words, you decode them. But this is not how the human machine works. Connection is not intellectual. It is biological resonance. Deep inside your brain, there is a specific set of circuits called mirror neurons. These are the engineers of empathy. Their job is to allow you to understand another human being, not by analyzing them, but by simulating them. Think about this common experience. You are watching a video on your phone. In the video, a skater falls and slams their shin hard against a metal rail. What happens to you? You wince. You grab your own leg. Your stomach tightens. Why? You were not hit. You are safe on your couch. But your brain does not know the difference. To understand the pain of the skater, your mirror neurons instantly fired the exact same neural pathways as if you were the one being hit. You did not just see the event, you simulated it. You ran the code of injury through your own system. Now apply this mechanism to your relationships. When you sit across from a friend who is stuck in a loop of toxic negativity, someone who is angry, chaotic, or deeply anxious, you are not just listening to their story. Your mirror neurons are hard at work. To understand their state, your brain is actively copying their state. If they are vibrating with the frequency of anxiety, your brain must generate a microdose of anxiety to resonate with them. If they are seething with hidden anger, your stomach tightens because your body is replicating their anger. You are literally downloading their software into your hardware. For a long time, you were unconscious of this process. You absorbed this data, you processed it, and you thought these feelings were yours. You left those interactions feeling drained, heavy, or irritable. wondering why you felt so bad when you hadn't done anything wrong. You were running a simulation of a crash, over and over again. This is why vibes are real. A bad vibe is not magic. It is your mirror neurons detecting a corrupted file. It is your body warning you that the person in front of you is running a program of chaos, and if you stay too long, your system will have to mimic that chaos just to maintain the connection. You are not judging them. You are simply feeling the cost of the simulation. And as we will see in the next chapter, when your own internal system becomes more coherent, the cost of running these chaotic simulations becomes too high to pay. We have looked at the brain and its mirror mechanism. Now we must look at the engine of your energy, the heart. Science has confirmed that the heart is not just a pump, it is an electrical generator. It produces an electromagnetic field that extends several feet outside your body. You are, quite literally, broadcasting a signal every second of every day. In the language of bioengineering, the quality of this signal is measured in coherence. When you are in a state of gratitude, calm, or deep presence, the state you are cultivating in your awakening, your heart rate variability produces a smooth, rhythmic, sine wave pattern. This is coherence. It is a signal of order. It is a clean frequency. But when a person is trapped in fear, frustration, envy, or drama, their heart produces a jagged, erratic, chaotic pattern. This is incoherence. It is a signal of disorder. Here is the physics of your situation. As you do your inner work, as you meditate, as you heal, you are training your system to hold a steady, coherent signal. You are becoming like a finely tuned instrument, playing a pure, clear note. Now imagine what happens when you bring a pure, clear note into a room with an instrument that is violently out of tune. You do not just hear the difference, you experience destructive interference. The chaotic waveform of the incoherent person crashes against the smooth waveform of your coherent field. It creates a dissonance. It creates noise. In the past, when you were also stressed and chaotic, you didn't notice their static because you were static too. Noise blends with noise. You match their incoherence. But now, because you are becoming still, the contrast is violent. Think of it like a body of water. If the water is already choppy and muddy, throwing another rock in doesn't change much. But if the water is perfectly still, glassy and clear, even a tiny pebble creates ripples that disturb the entire surface. This is why you suddenly feel sick around certain people. It is not a moral judgment. You are not saying you are better than them. It is simply a physics equation. Your system is fighting to maintain its structural integrity against a chaotic force. Your body is working overtime to convert their static into something processable, and it is exhausting. The nausea, the headache, the urge to run, this is your biofield rejecting the interference. It is the physics of your soul saying, I cannot hold my alignment and process this chaos at the same time. You are not being intolerant. You are experiencing the cost of misalignment. You might be asking a logical question right now. If this is just biology, why didn't I feel it before? I have known these people for 10 years. Why is it unbearable now? The answer lies in the engineering concept of insulation. For much of your life, you were likely operating in survival mode. When a human being is in survival mode, carrying unresolved trauma, suppressed emotions, or chronic stress, the system builds armor. In engineering terms, trauma acts as an insulator. It numbs you. It creates a thick layer of resistance between your core self and the outside world. This numbness is a defense mechanism. It allows you to walk through fire without feeling the heat. It allows you to tolerate toxic environments because your senses are dulled. You could handle the bad vibes before because you were sedated by your own defense mechanisms. But then, you started waking up. You started meditating. You started processing your old wounds. You started healing. Do not mistake what healing is. Healing is not just feeling better. Healing is the removal of the insulation. You have been stripping away the numbness, layer by layer, and as the resistance drops, the voltage increases. You are moving from a low voltage system to a high voltage system. Think of it like audio equipment. A cheap, broken speaker can play a scratchy, low-quality recording, and you won't notice the static because the speaker itself is low quality. It masks the imperfections. But if you upgrade to a high-fidelity, state-of-the-art sound system, you hear everything. You hear the breath of the singer, but you also hear the hiss of the tape. You hear the background noise. The better the equipment, the less it can tolerate a bad signal. This is where you are. You are becoming a high-fidelity instrument. You are confusing your new sensitivity with weakness. You think, I used to be so tough. Nothing bothered me. Now I'm so fragile. You are not fragile. You are clear. The numbness is gone. The armor is down. You are finally feeling the reality of your environment, without the filter of your own suppression. Your intolerance is not a symptom of regression. It is the definitive proof of your expansion. Your system is now running at a level of precision, where contamination is immediately detected. You are no longer built for heavy lifting of toxic loads. You are built for the transmission of higher frequencies, and a system built for transmission cannot afford to be clogged with static. So now that we understand the mechanics that this is a signal, a mirror, and an upgrade, what do you actually do? How do you operate this new machine without isolating yourself from the entire world? Let us look at the protocol. So we have established the mechanics. We know that your repulsion is a system alert, a mirror neuron overload, and a coherence clash. Now we must execute the solution. The hardest part of this awakening process is not the meditation. It is the guilt of closing the door, the guilt of saying no. You feel you owe people your energy because of history. We have been friends for 10 years, you say. They are family, you say. But here is the final truth you must integrate. Access to your energy is a privilege, not a right. You are no longer a public utility. You are a private facility. When an engineer builds a sensitive high-tech environment, like a server room or a laboratory, they install airlocks. They install security protocols. Not because they hate the people outside, but because the machinery inside is too valuable to be exposed to contaminants. You must treat your soul with the same level of architectural respect. This is the protocol of preservation. It does not require you to be cruel. It does not require you to judge these people or tell them they are low vibration. That is just spiritual ego. The protocol is simple. You starve the interference. You stop engaging in the conversations that drain you. You stop offering your body as a dumping ground for their complaints. You politely excuse yourself when the coherence in the room drops. You will find that when you stop feeding the old dynamic, many people will naturally fall away. They were not attached to you. They were attached to the energy you provided. They were attached to your willingness to play the role of the listener, the fixer, the trash can for their drama. When you remove the role, the relationship dissolves. Let it dissolve. You are trying to broadcast a clear signal into the universe, a signal of purpose, of peace, of mastery. You cannot broadcast a clear signal if your station is filled with noise. Do not fear the empty space that comes when these people leave. That silence is not loneliness. That silence is bandwidth. It is the empty space required for new information, new inspiration, and new people. People who resonate at your new frequency to enter your life. You are not losing friends, you are simply clearing the cache. So the next time you feel that tightness in your chest, that sudden urge to pull away, honor it. Trust the mechanics of your body. It is guiding you toward the people and the places where you do not have to shrink to fit in. Walk gently, but walk away if you must. Your first duty is to the alignment of your own soul.